guys, welcome to yet another video by your corporate big sisters. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
So in today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the things that you can do while you're in university to help you stand out when you
Yes.
eventually do apply for a job, because you don't want to be that person that is only just about academics. Although like academics are important,
Yes.
but doing some extracurricular activities can really help you when you start applying for jobs.
And make you that all-round kind of person when you're applying.
Yeah. So why would you want to do this? So I think like one reason why like we did that while we were in university is that sometimes you're not like an A student or like a cum laude student or like always on the dean's list, but you have like other skills to show. So even if you're not getting like those high marks,
Yeah.
but you can really showcase like other skills that you would have learned in the extracurricular activities that you would have done like outside of the classroom.
Yeah, so it can also be like things that you're interested in, things that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
So there's a lot really that you can get from doing things outside of just your academics, like for example, networking as well. By doing these things, you really do meet a lot of different people as well.
Yeah.
And it just helps you to broaden also like your network and people you know, and just also really help you stand out once you're trying to get into those interviews and into those different companies.
Yeah, because even like with relationship building, that's not really a skill that you get taught in the classroom.
Yes.
So like let's say for example we did like economics, like you go to TAT, you write tests, etc., and you can do well in that. But if you're now in a space where you actually have to be like mingling with people, like you're working with clients, etc., having that theory can help you, but like actually applying it in a practical way can really help.
Yeah, and like different companies have different cultures as well. So you'll find that sometimes when you do these like extracurricular activities outside of just your degree, you're also able to eventually become a culture fit for a specific company. So I know, for example, like there's companies out there that have a really big like sporting culture. So for example, if you've done a sport as well in varsity, that's a great way to stand out when applying for this company, because then you'll be able to have something in common and something where they can also fit you into their culture, and like you'll get along with sort of like the co-workers there because you also have the spirit of like doing sports,
Even
and
community service as well.
Yeah,
like some
yeah.
companies are really big on community service. So if it's something that you're doing in your personal life, then it shows that you can be like a good cultural fit.
Yeah,
as well.
and it also marries sort of like something you're passionate about with the job that you're doing. So
Yeah.
I know people always speak about like doing meaningful work, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's nice to be able to work in the field that you're qualified in and also be able to do things that you're also still passionate about, and you can give back to the community as well.
Yeah. I think also just like Apple touched on it earlier about networking as well. Like sometimes people get jobs in unconventional ways.
Yes.
And that like, other people you just apply for the job and then like you get called in for an interview. And then in other instances, like you have a conversation with someone and you tell them that I'm really interested in going into this, and they're like, oh, actually I'm already in that space. So maybe I can help you with like applying, and it kind of gives you like a better chance. So
Yeah.
again, like you won't get that just being in the classroom. Like you'll get that if you're actually practically doing these things.
Yeah, that is so true. And it just also really helps you be like an all round kind of person, not just being about the academics. Because once you get into the working world, there's also a lot of things that you're going to need to do in collaboration with other people.
Yeah.
So doing these kind of extracurricular activities, you get used to that kind of environment of working in a team and being around different types of people with different types of personalities. So it's also
Yes.
just a great way for you to like better that skill and be able to work with different kinds of people that you're going to meet.
For sure.
Okay, so now we've spoken about why you need to do these things. Now, what kind of things can you do in varsity to make you stand out? So one thing that you should probably do that both of us actually didn't really do while we were in varsity is doing like vac work and internships during your midterm or your year-end breaks. So this really helps because then you can put the theory that you've learned in your class into practice. So for example, let's say you're studying accounting and maybe during your vac time, you go into like an accounting firm and you actually help out with their books. This is really a great way for you to like actually start understanding the work that you're doing in class in the actual workspace. And this really sometimes also puts you at a greater standing when you're applying.
Yeah, because obviously if you've worked for that company before, then you would already know like the cultural things and like
Mm.
the processes, etc. So it can help you. Obviously, not all the time. Like it's not a guarantee,
Yeah.
but it can help you when you actually do apply at a later stage. And I think also it doesn't necessarily have to
Yeah.
be in your field. Like let's say, for example, I don't know, you work at a hair salon and you do like the bookkeeping for them. Like you're still practically applying
Yes,
those
yes.
skills, even though it's like in a different environment. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And it's a great way also to build relationships within these environments. So
Yeah.
if you do end up working for like a company that you wish to work for in the future during that work, then again, you've built those relationships with the people that actually work there. They know your
Yeah.
work ethic, they know the kind of person you are, which makes it a whole lot easier once you're applying them there in the future.
Yeah.
But again, to Dumi's point, it doesn't necessarily need to be in the industry you want to work in. It could be completely something different. But having that skill and being able to showcase it to the
Yeah.
companies you're applying for is also a great differentiator amongst your peers when you're applying.
Yeah. And also just with the relationships, like we used to do this a lot, where most universities will have companies that come there, whether it's for a career fair or whether it's like a separate like event, like standalone events that
Yes,
they're
yes,
having,
yes.
actually going there and speaking to the people that work there. And not just going for the food. Because we know sometimes they have good food and you just want to go there, get the food, you're living in Reyes, you don't want to cook. No, like actually making use of that time is
Yeah.
very, very worthwhile.
I know I went there for the wrong reasons most times,
Yeah.
just for the food because I didn't want to
Yeah.
cook. But at the same time, those could be really, really great and fruitful relationships to make when you
Yeah.
go to those networking events. I mean, it's like a ticket into the company, sort of, if you
Yeah,
think
for
about it.
sure.
Because you're getting to know people there, you're understanding their processes,
Yeah.
and you just really get a sense of what the company is like in terms of their culture. And
It's like a
also,
chance to interview them.
yeah, it's like a
as
chance to
well.
interview them as well. Because
Yeah.
remember, when you're going for company interviews, you're also interviewing them back because you're trying to
Exactly.
see if you would also fit into their environment.
Yeah. And I think also speaking of res, like, you know, sometimes you would stay in res and there's also an opportunity to work in those reses as well.
Yes.
Like we worked as receptionists, for example, at the reses that we were at. And that also helps you with like gaining certain skills and also you get paid sometimes. So
Yeah.
that
So
also
it's not
helps.
bad.
Yeah, so it can be like a tutor in the res or even in the university as well. Like being
Yeah.
a tutor, you can be like a, I don't know what the names are in the different universities, but sometimes you have like a warden or sub warden rather, who like looks after students within the res. So that's also an opportunity to show that you can be a leader and you can have like leadership skills within like your residence.
Yeah, and don't ever take those things for granted. Like those kind of jobs really, really help you out. Again, I know we've been harping on the relationship building and the networking, but networks are so important because
They
in
are
the
so
future, these are
important.
people that could be actually interviewing you. These
And
are
you
people,
never know.
exactly. These are people that are
Yeah.
going to be in the same industries as you one day, and you really would love to like keep those relationships alive and actually know
Yeah.
them on a more personal level because that always also helps you as well.
Even with sports, because sports is a very like fun way of building relationships. Like it's not as formal. So you might find that someone you played sports with at Rays like ends up working at a company that you
Yeah.
want to work for. So it's obviously easier to approach that person. And like Abo said, you never know like where a person's gonna be and like
Exactly.
what you might need from someone. But obviously not going into it with that intention, but like it could be a like a side effect of being within that environment.
So other great things to do when you're university is join different societies. I know at the university that we both went to, there were so many different societies to choose from. But they're also a great way for you to like also again network, develop a skill. Like I know we joined like a couple of societies. We did the consulting club. We did a lot of different
investment
things.
society,
Investment society, yeah, there were so many different ones, and we joined those because they really were going to help us stand out and also teach us a lot about the industry that we're trying to move into and the different types of corporate companies that you can find. You would find that these societies would either bring people from there to come speak to us so that we could learn more, or they'd bring people that are going to come teach us skills like writing CVs and cover letters, for example. So societies are also a great way for you to like do something that's a lot more meaningful as well and quite steered into the direction of maybe the industry that you want to get into.
And also you don't have to just be a member in the society. So remember in our first video we had spoken about like being in a position in a specific society. That's where you get the opportunity to do that. Like you can be a treasurer, for example, for a certain society. Or like if you're studying marketing, you can be like in the marketing committee, etc. So that gives you also a chance to apply the things practically. And also, like, some of the societies aren't necessarily just for jobs, but it's
Yeah.
just like for your interests. So, like, let's say, for example, you're interested in, I don't know, like golfing or something like that. They also sometimes can have societies just for your interests. And also, at the end of the day, when you apply for a job, they're looking for you as a person and like
Yes.
what you
The
like.
human aspect of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're really into like golf, and you bring that up in an interview, like it shows that you have a life outside of work and you do other things as well. So that's also just something to consider as a part of the societies.
Yeah, and also a lot of universities also have things called career centers, which are a great place as well for you to explore and go to find out exactly maybe where you want to steer your career, like which direction you wanted to go, as well as also be able to go and work there and find out maybe what sort of skills you have.
Things.
Yeah, because they could really like give you like a diagnosis, for example, of what industries they think might work for you. And they've got professionals there that are actually capable of helping you by putting together the skills that you portray to them or tell them, and then like suggest actual job industries or job places that you can apply to or you would love to go to in the future.
Yeah, and sometimes they actually help you with going through your CV.
Yes.
They help you with mock interviews as well. So don't sleep on career centers. Like, and also don't leave it until like the last minute when you're trying to find a job. If possible, like you might think it's too early, but from like first or second year, you can already go and speak to these people because like I was saying, you can see like what direction you want your career to steer. And so if you do that in like your first or second year, it's still early. So definitely make use of those and find out if your university actually does have one of these. So in this video, we've been talking about what you can do, how you can do it, etc. So we just want to share some of the things that we actually did do just to give you like an idea of some of the activities that you can do. So just for context, like we didn't study like close to home, like we didn't stay at home, we stayed in Reyes. So it really gave us an opportunity because we were living on campus to really be involved, like in the campus life. So, for example, we were very, like we mentioned earlier, we used to work at our reses as receptionists. And even at Res, we used to play sports as well. Like we played for the netball team.
Yeah, we had really cute outfits.
We had like netball fits, etc. And like some of the people like you'll still see even till this day. And also because races are very big, you don't really get a chance to interact with everyone. Like there were some people we had never seen before until we actually started playing for that netball team. So that was a really cool opportunity to get to know some people in the Res.
And I mean, beyond even that, in Res, we were part of like the planning committees, like the social committee at
Yes,
Res. So that was always very cool. We used to help plan the parties, do the marketing, which again let us meet a few different people from the ones that we were playing netball with, and really just also get to enjoy the Res life and like the people around you. And also, again, being away from home, you don't really have your family right there. So you kind of need to create like, your own type of family there, your own sort of like friends as well, group of friends that you can hang out with. And especially at Res as well, because, you never know when you might need like help or like when things are not going great, you always have people there that know you and around you.
And also with regards to the planning, we were also orientation leaders as well.
Oh, yes.
And with that, we literally had to plan the whole orientation for first years. And obviously that showcases your skills of being able to put something together from start to
organization
finish,
skills,
being able to work in a team, so that was also a really cool experience. And we got to meet like some of the first years as well. And it can be very daunting as a first year coming to university. So like that was also like a very nice experience.
And it was less daunting, I'm sure, for the first years because they got to see our faces, when they first got there. But that was also really fun. Again, meeting a lot of people within our faculty because that was like for the whole commerce faculty when we were there. So we were like planning everything. We even did a whole dance. We have a song for the year. A little bit embarrassing, but hopefully if any of our previous first years see us, they know exactly who we are. But that was also really fun. We did a bunch of things as well. I mean, we were also part of an organization called Shoko, and that was more for us to do like community service because Dumi and I are very passionate about those kind of things. I mean, we did so many of those kind of things even from back home. So when we got to university, it was something very important to us. So we joined Shoko and we were learner coordinators.
Yeah.
And that
Because it's like
basically,
a tutoring
yeah,
organization.
like a tutoring organization. So we were
Yeah.
working with like primary school
Yeah.
children and like helping them with like different types of skills
Yeah.
and just like really immersing ourselves in the community and giving back with the skills that we've learned and we've
Yeah.
gathered over the years as well.
Yeah, because we also like were a part of a group that started an NPO that used to give like sanitary pads and like just like mentorship to girls in grade 11 and matric as well. Because Abo said we really like to give back to the community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was also really fun because we also did even like a whole career day for
Yes, we had a
them.
career day as
Sure,
well.
like we did so much, and it was also
Yeah.
really, really like nice to meet up with people within different communities and like help out because I mean we were so like lucky to be in these positions and the spaces
Yeah.
that we were in. So it was always very important to us to do as well.
Yeah. So those are some of the things that we did. So comment down below on some of the things that you guys are doing or would like to do. We'd really like to hear about it.
So that brings us to the end of our video for today. And just a quick recap on what we've spoken about. So we touched on why you need to do certain things in varsity to make you stand out, and also what kind of things you can actually do to stand out while in varsity.
And also, we shared some of our practical things that we've done. So we would love to hear what you guys have been doing,
please.
what you want to do. Like, please, guys, please let us know. So don't forget, guys.
As always, your corporate big sisters are here to help you secure the bag.